30 years ago, the Omnics declared war. The nations of the world had no answer until they called upon a small group of heroes. Overwatch was created to rescue humanity from the Omnic crisis. We became the greatest champions of peace and progress mankind has ever seen. You were chosen because you had powers and abilities that made you... You joined because you... You already know this. Look, the people decided they were better off without us. They even called us criminals. They tore our family apart. But look around! Someone has to do something! We have to do something! We can make a difference again. The world needs us now, more than ever. Are you with me? No.
Overwatch 2, the laughingstock of the gaming community for the past year. Bad monetization, bad management, dead naming, cancelling PvE, lack of communication, and all those scandalous behind the scenes events. But let's not cry over spilt milk just yet. Let me tell you, I don't give a what people say. Overwatch is probably one of my favourite games of all time. And I'm so glad I can't see my hours in Overwatch 1, because it will probably lobotomise me. Anyone playing games in 2016 is an idiot if they couldn't see the appeal of Overwatch when it was in its prime. The world was instantly hooked by the sheer quality and attractiveness of such a fresh, rewarding game. Although, this game was a bit too attractive to some. I can't believe an entire new generation of professional animators was spawned by the desire to immerse us further into Overwatch's world. Wait, Pokemon? 3D animation technology has literally skyrocketed since the world got hold of Widowmaker's assets. Yeah, assets. Overwatch thrived for a good 3 years or so, before content and support for the game just stopped. Whilst the other portion of the Overwatch community was still hard at work developing the technology used for the next Spider-Verse movie, the player community was left with less frequent content drops, horrible balancing oversights, and a lack of that developer transparency that they came to expect. What was happening behind the scenes? In 2019, we found out. They were hard at work making a sequel. New characters, PvE campaign, gameplay overhauls. I couldn't believe it. My favourite game was back. They never left. They were just hard at work giving us what we always wanted. But the community just wanted to know when it was coming out. And Blizzard said,
No.
So after this trailer for Overwatch 2 came out, the first game faced about a 3-year content drought. Barely anything new was released, but we all had hope that Overwatch 2 would be worth the wait. Most people dropped off the game in this time, myself included, but at least we knew the sequel was coming, and the lack of content in the first game must mean all of the resources were all being put into the next big game, right? In 2022, we got to play the Overwatch 2 PvP beta, and it was awesome! The gameplay reworks going from 6v6 to 5v5, hero reworks, gameplay tweaks, it all felt so healthy and fresh.
Do you remember when you could literally just go 5 tank?
Yeah, do you remember the planes at the towers? The community generally fell in love with the game, myself included. Fast forward to the end of the year, and the game fully released, and it was free to play, full of microtransactions. Heroes were locked behind a battle pass, and there was no promised PvE mode in sight. What the I'm actually really happy with the game in its current state. Its gameplay is still super tight and refined and so robust. It allows for amazing skill expression. Everything new the devs are crafting is so excellent and fresh, such as the new heroes and maps. Gameplay wise, it feels just as good as the original in its early days, if not better. Right, I never expected my new favourite character they released to be such a fruity little pile of friendable meat. He's going to convert me, I swear. Like, my hips will be the first thing that come round corners soon enough, I'm telling you. But seriously, in all of the backlash Overwatch has gotten, can you honestly fault the game at its core? The gameplay, the controls, the quality of the game feel. In my experience, the only times I've ever properly criticised the game is when it comes to the types of players that it gravitates.
No one cares about you.
I'm fucking monkey.
Flying gorilla.
When was the last time you played a game of Overwatch that was complete trash? When it wasn't because of a bad experience with another player. And I don't mean you getting diffed by the enemy. That's a skill issue. I'm talking about the times you got so mad at the game, or what was physically happening as part of the core gameplay, that it made you quit the game and load up balloons? This is down to the mental resolve of the person, I guess, but I think at least 90% of people's experience with Overwatch isn't tainted by the game itself. Instead, it's tainted by the people that play it and the core toxicity that these types of players ooze. You get all the Genji mains who lock in all game and tint, the widows that sit and cry and type in spawn all game, or the Lucios who refuse to heal. You've all been in those games. In fact, I'm willing to bet you get one of those plays in about a third of your matches. So what is the point of all this? What am I going on about? You must be thinking, you can't blame the players for everything that's going wrong with the game. You're right. The stuff that's gone on behind the scenes is terrible, and the cancelling of PvE was just a complete betrayal. What I can blame you for is boycotting the game and leaving the dregs of society to fill the player base. We are enabling Blizzard. We are allowing a game that we all used to love slowly die. We need to do something. I apologise in advance, this next part is going to get a little bit businessy, but luckily I'm also going to include a CBeebies version that requires a shit ton more editing. As mentioned, the player base is filled to the brim with these lobotomites of society because they are the players that don't know any better. They're salty, they're spoiled, they're wastes of human life. Every game has them. That's what happens when a community slowly dies. These people tend to be what gets left. A lot of the community has become boycotting Overwatch, and the sheer laughingstock the game has become has prevented new players from picking up what's otherwise a very solid PvP game. Going back to my point about boycotting the game, what do you think that accomplishes? Seriously, if you boycott something, it's because you care about the welfare of what you're refusing to be part of. Let me tell you, by boycotting the game, you are the problem. Sure, if you don't like the game, you can stop playing, but so many Overwatch fans are leaving the game because they love the game. They're just unhappy with the changes and developments made by Blizzard. Are you a f***ing idiot? Now, yes, Blizzard added horrible monetization and all that jazz. We don't need to talk about that, you all know. When you boycott them for that, what do you think happens?
Oh, they're going to change their ways and they don't make as much money.
No, what happens then is these knucklehead dregs of society that make up the remaining player base ramp up Blizzard's analytics when they see that, oh look, 50% of our current players are buying these overpriced skins, they're buying our battle passes, looks like we can keep charging ridiculous prices and people will still fall for it. Why do you think the first mythic skin they added was a Genji skin? Blizzard is a business at the end of the day, not an ethnically diverse cast of quirky characters the marketing makes you think. They see the numbers, they see the analytics, and they just see the graphs. Now hypothetically, let's double the player base and get everyone back in there and join the game who actually want to play it, and show the business that no, it looks like only 25% of the players are falling for our tactics. They will see that untapped market and capitalise. By avoiding the game, you invite stagnancy and enable Blizzard to take advantage of quick, easy cash from the whales that buy Genji skins. Oh, but what if I want a cool skin that just came out? That used to be free. If you're that kind of player that's going to get emotional over missing out on a skin, then sorry, but you're playing the wrong game. Go play Fortnite. I expect most people care more about the game than the way they look to other people in the game. You know, I don't think the Genji mains tinting all game care about your skin. I apologise that was a little much, but now for the fun, simple baby version, yay! Let's all clap together, let's join hands in ceremony, let's clap the NHS, yay! Okay. Imagine you just got a puppy for Christmas. That puppy is called Blizzard. Imagine you want to teach it tricks and take it for walks. Let's imagine that lovely park you take it on for walks is called Overwatch Park. Now you, the owner, are giving the dog treats for being oh such a good boy on the walk. But there's your silly grandparents, let's call them Mr. Genji main and Mrs. Widow main, spoiling little old Blizzard every day because they have nothing better to do with their lives. Right now, Blizzard is a very naughty dog and is misbehaving. He won't go for walks, he won't do tricks, yet he's demanding all these yummy treats and dentistix. And that's all because your stupid grandparents have been giving him tasty treats all day and it expects that from you. Eventually you get so annoyed that you just let Mr. Genji and Mrs. Widowmaker just look after the dog and it eventually dies because it gets so unfit from being unable to go on all these lovely walks. Sorry Blizzard, you silly little pooch. You've had a heart attack. Instead of letting little poor poochy Blizzard become an ungrateful, greedy, lazy little shit, you force it out on walks. You force it to do more tricks and earn those treats. You showed that it's worth being obedient in order to get more treats and more consistently too. Eventually the dog is walking nicely, it's behaving well, it's doing tricks without begging for those treats all day. So it realizes it doesn't need to be so greedy. It knows it can have much longer and happier life going to the park every day, getting treats from everyone who love it. It lives a happy life. It doesn't die screaming and crying. It lives a long happy life. Maybe it's a little fat, it's still a dog after all and you love to spoil it, but they shower you with unconditional love in return. It's symbiotic. What I'm really trying to get at in this video is that you shouldn't be ashamed for liking Overwatch. There are still passionate and talented developers working hard to pump out content for us. It's just that damn naughty puppy that's letting us all down. If you think Overwatch is a bad game, then that's fine, you can think that way. But when you force yourself to not play it despite you loving it because other people and greedy modern business practices are taking advantage of you, then maybe you should give it another try, whilst maintaining that mental resolve and awareness that as a community, you have more power than you initially think. After all, Overwatch 2 wouldn't be possible without you in the first place. And together as a community, we might actually convince Blizzard it's worth scaling back on some of their greedy practices. Or we can all just go play balloons.